رحم الله من قرأ سورة المبارك الفاتحة مسبوقة بصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. بسم الله. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وبه نستعين والحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وهو رحمته للعالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد. والصلاة والسلام على أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين الميامين المهديين المظلومين ولعنة الله دائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، فقال الله تعالى في كتابه المجيد وقوله الحق. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ذلك الذي يبشر الله عباده والذين آمنوا وعملوا صالحات قل لا أسألكم عليه أجرا إلا المودة في القربى ومن يقترف حسنة نزد له فيها حسنا إن الله غفور شكور. آمنا بالله صدق الله العلي العظيم وصلوا على محمد وآل محمد. We begin by extending our salutations, our tabrikat, to the Imam of the time, Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, Ajalallahu ta'ala farajah sharif. And I also begin by extending my tabrikat to all of the mu'mineen and the mu'minat, and the muslimin and the muslimat on this Eid al-Akbar, on the greatest of the Eids, of the 4 Eids. It is the greatest of the Eids. There is no Eid greater than this Eid. I'm not saying this because it's a kind of banner that we're told. I'm saying that as a historian. Someone who has studied, alhamdulillah, these things for 17 years, this tradition. This is the greatest Eid. As an academic historian. Not as I said, not as a slogan. We know there is no greater Eid than this today. This is the belief and aqidah of the Shia tradition and madhab. This is, as I said, again, not a cultural thing. This is the aqidah of the madhab of Tashayyu. So we are followers of Tashayyu. This is the greatest Eid. This is greater than Fitr, greater than Adha, greater than Mubarak. This is Eid al-Ghadeer. Okay? So your attendance here is more important than Adha, than Fitr, than Mubahala. Not that we don't attend those are all days of blessings, the great days that Aimah have told us to attend and to perform prayers and listen to khutbah, yes. However, all of that is put aside in comparison to Eid al-Ghadeer. There is no muqarana or comparison or analogies even to be made between these Eids. And we're going to talk about why that is the case. Why Eid al-Ghadeer? Why is this important? Why are we here? And in order to do that, we have to begin with Surah Shura, Ayah 23, which we all know the ayah of Muwadda. But we have to look at the ayah completely, from its beginning to its end, in order to understand what is transpiring here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is first saying that He's basically giving good news. Whenever Allah says, ذَلِكَ الَّذِي يُبَشِّرُ اللَّهُ عِبَادَهُ. So now God is saying there's a certain group of people who are giving glad tidings. Glad tidings meaning Jannah. Okay? The bushra of Allah, it can be nothing greater than Jannah itself, heaven, right? Obviously. Allah's forgiveness, Allah's rahmah, and Allah's Jannat. Obviously, there's nothing greater of a gift and good news to be given to the mu'mineen. الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا صَالِحَاتٍ. Right? Those who believe, who have iman, and those who do good deeds. So good deeds and iman, we all know, is the recipe for the good news to come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is as far as the ordinary standard, shall we say, boilerplate Muslim interpretation would go. But then the ayah says, قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا. So for all that I've done, everything to do with iman, amalu salihat, that is sharia, fiqh, aqaid, all of the kalam of Rasulullah. So just think of everything that Rasulullah imparts. All of the revelation. The Quran from Fatiha to An-Nas. Everything that the Rasulullah has ever said. Everything. That when we follow it, we're giving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings, which is the bushra. وَيُبَشِّرْ, right? يُبَشِّرُ اللَّهُ عِبَادُهُ, that Allah gives the good news to His servants. But then the ayah continues as He says, then tell them that for this, I ask you for nothing. I ask you for nothing. I ask you for no payback, no reward. You don't owe me anything. إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى, except to show devotion. Mawadda means devotion, not love, by the way. Devotion, not love. Devotion and love are two different things. It means devotion. We don't have time to give an Arabic lesson tonight because we want to go into the other ahadith, but it means devotion, to be devoted. So all that iman, amilu salih, good deeds, jannat, everything that is given to us, the Prophet says, if you want any of it to make sense, if you want any of it to come true, if you want any of it to ever be real for you, I ask you to be devoted to my Qur'an. Think about it. Just think about what is the maqam of Ahlul Bayt fil Qur'an, not hadith. One ayah of Qur'an. Not going to hadith. Just look at the ayah as a logical person. I'm not interpolating the ayah. And we know based on the traditions that this qurba is Ali, Fatima, Hassan wal Hussein. Salamullahi alayhim. That is within the immediate context of this. But then Allah continues now. So all this religion of Islam, all this hard work, fasting, siyam, zakat, kums, abstaining from haram, keeping our eyes down, watching what we eat, put in our bellies, halal income, everything. Everything. All this hard work and juhd comes down to mawadda. Think of what does it mean to be that Allah has chosen you to sit here as a devotee of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. What does that mean? And then Allah says, and the one who earns a good deed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives him more. Again, the hasana, that good deed, that hasana, Allah multiplies it. Right? Nazid lahu fiha husna. Allah makes it even more beautiful. Because Allah is, Inna Allah ghafurun shakur. Allah is forgiving and thankful. Meaning for everything that we do, the greatest hasana of everything that we do, siyam, salah, ibadat, nikah, tahara, najasa, on. Tijara, all the abwab of fiqh, go through them. All the masail of the sifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, everything that goes into iman, right? Allah sifat, jamal, jalal, thubutiyya, salbiyya, all of this. Ma'ad, adalat, Qiyamat, all of it boils down to earning the hasanat, the hasana, And that hasana ultimately is mawadda. Mawadda fil qurba. It's a love for Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. Can you imagine what is the maqam of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad within all of this picture of Islam? And this is the day when we get together to remember that. That is the day of Ghadeer. Rasul al-Akram sallallahu alayhi wa alihi has given us a very beautiful explanation of this ayah of Muwadda, where he says, Tabrasi narrates also in Majma' al-Bayan, of course, this hadith in Majma' al-Bayan. Qala Rasulullah, I don't want to go through the Arabic, we have quite a few ahadith to go through tonight, but he says basically that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the prophets from one tree. From one tree came the prophets. Of course, this is metaphorical, a tree, okay? From another tree, he created Ana wa Ali. We were created from a separate tree. فَأَنَّ أَسْلُهَا, I am its foundation, or its roots, essentially. وَعَلِي فِرْعُهَا, and Ali is its branches. وَفَاطِمَةَ لَقَاهُهَا, and Fatima is the seed for the whole thing. Fatima is the seed. Meaning without Fatima, there's no Muhammad and no Ali. This is very deep here, right? That the combination of these three, right? وَالْحَسَنُ وَالْحُسَيْنُ ثِمَارُهَا, are its thimar. Hassan and Hussein are the fruits. That whatever, the tree is forever useless, forever without beauty, without fruits. If it doesn't yield fruits, it's of no benefit. If it doesn't yield those athmar, then it is not of beauty and of benefit, of course, because it's not a ripe tree, it's not a yielding tree. That everything that is yielded from it is through Hassan wal Hussein alayhim salam. وَأَشْيَاعُنَا أَوْرَاقُهَا, and our Shia, our followers, are the leaves of this tree. Then the Prophet of Allah, the Messenger of Allah, the final messenger, he says, فَمَنْ تَعَلَّقَ, and the one who holds on to a branch, or rather a twig here, ghasn, a twig from among the twigs of this tree, naja, he is saved. وَمَنْ زَاغَ عَنْهَا هَوَى, and the one who doesn't hold on to this tree perishes, is lost. Even if a servant of Allah was to worship Allah between Safa and Marwa, Elif Am, Thumma Elif Am, Thumma Elif Am, for 1,000 years and another 1,000 years and another 1,000 years, until he achieves this high, high station. ثُمَّ لَمْ يُدْرِكْ مَحَبَّتَنَا, but he does not come to realize and accept our love. قَبَحَهُ اللَّهُ عَلَى مَنْخَرِهِ فِي النَّارِ, Allah shall throw him on his nostrils into the fire of hell. And then what does the Prophet say? قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. That everything that I've said is encapsulated in قُلْ لَا أَسْأَلُكُمْ عَلَيْهِ أَجْرًا إِلَّا الْمَوَدَّةَ فِي الْقُرْبَى. This is the commentary of the Prophet on this verse. 1,000 years after another 1,000 years after another 1,000 years. But if after all that the love, the mahabbah of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad does not come to life, then all that worship doesn't only amount to nothing, but the person will be thrown on their nostrils into the fire of Jahannam, the nar. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And imagine the ayah ends with Inna Allah ghafurun shakur. Allahu Akbar. Not only that, If we show this muwadda, this devotion to the family of the Prophet, to the Prophet and his family, God is forgiving of us and thankful for the love we show them. Allahu Akbar. What more could someone want? Allah's shakur, because we're showing love to his beloved. Allah is shakur to us. Not the other way. The ayah says shukur. Allah is thankful of us. Allah is recognizing and grateful, and obviously not in a way that we understand in any way. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses this word, meaning he accepts our devotion, our offering to him. Because the devotion of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad is an offering to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah is saying, I accept this offering that you are giving me. All of this for the love of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad. I don't think we can comprehend this, fathom this. I mean, why do we think sometimes in the poetry we just go out of this world? This is normal. It's okay. Where are we supposed to do? Stay in dunya? Can't stay in dunya with it, because this is stuff that is out of this world. This is out of dunya. Naturally, when we are reciting poetry and things, obviously it has to stay within. It can't be outside of the hudud of Islam and the borders of Islam, but otherwise, as the traditions say, Ahlul Bayt are not khaliq, but they're not makhluk either, really. It's a saying, right? They're not God, of course, but they're not makhluk, really, like us. They're not just simple creation like us. So thus, naturally, when we think about them and we think about what we owe them, it's something that goes beyond this dunya. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ghadeer, of course, is a product of the verse of Muwadda. The verse of Muwadda came first. Ghadeer came after. Ghadeer is almost like this culmination of the Muwadda of Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Right? Now you have to love them. You have to love them. But now I'm making you all pledge allegiance. I'm making you pledge allegiance. See? It's the second step, the final step, the khatam here now is coming. And of course, Ghadeer, we know, is among the last ayat revealed of the Holy Quran. All Muslim, Sunni and Shia generally agree that Ma'idah is the final surah. So this celebration of Ghadeer, is it something that the Shia community developed at a later stage? Is it something that the Shia masajid and Husseyniyat, developed at a later time to sort of, this event is important, let's get together, let's make some kind of, amal on this day, or let's fast, or let's do something to remember it? Or is it something which has been given to us as a day by the Ahlul Bayt, salamullahi alayhim? That when we say it's a great Eid, is that because we're understanding, well, because the Prophet asked us to pledge allegiance to this, and the imamat is so important, muwadda is so important, so thus it has to be a great Eid? Like, are we going through a logical step kind of deriving this Eid, or is it something which is firmer than that in the tradition? There's a very famous hadith of Imam al-Rida salamullahi alayhi, a very famous riwayah. For the love of Ahlul Bayt, and because it's today's Ghadeer, I will quote the hadith in full. The sanad is qawi jiddan. It is very, very strong, the sanad of the hadith, because it's narrated through Ibn Dawood al-Qummi, through his intermediaries, to Abi Nasr Bazanti from Imam Rada. It is a very strong sanad, and the hadith is quoted in many, many, many books. Misbah al-Mutajid, Tahdhib al-Ahkam, Al-Gharat, Malahdur al-Faqih, I believe, and many Manaqib Ibn Abi Shahrashub, many of our important books. Don't want to go through it and bore you, but just so it's not something I've just chosen something, that looks really nice, one hadith in some book by Allama Majlisi, although there's nothing wrong with that, but that's not the case. I've chosen a tradition from the earliest sources of Shia Islam, from our earliest sources of our madhab, okay? From the earliest period that I could find. A group of the family of Hashim, of Banu Hashim, were gathered on the day of Ghadeer. They were with Imam Rida, salamullahi alayhi. And some of the people, فَأَنْكَرَهُ بَعْضُ النَّاسِ, some of the people didn't like this. They rejected this. So what do you, this is not a Eid. Like this is, they're basically accusing Imam Rida of a bid'ah. What they're doing. So he's getting together with his family. Well, since when is this a holiday? You're creating a state holiday where there's no holiday? You know? It's not Christmas for them, so to speak, right? Now Imam Rida, whenever Imam Rida, this happens to Imam Rida, we see, for those who study the traditions of Imam Rida, oh, then Imam Rida begins now, right? You know, and then he begins. And we will now quote in full what Imam's jawab is to them in response. At this point, the Imam says, my father has told me, who was told by his father, Imam al-Sadiq, salamullahi alayhi. So now he's narrating from the sixth Imam. That verily the day of Ghadeer, قال إن يوم الغدير في السماء أشهر منه في الأرض. That the day of Ghadeer in the heavens, in the unseen world, in the Jannat, in the Sama, when it says Sama meaning the unseen world, is more popular and more famous than whatever you know of Ghadeer in earth. Meaning that Ghadeer as a day, whatever we think we know and we're doing here, we have no idea of what Ghadeer is, because its reality exists in a world which is beyond our eyes. The day of Ghadeer is, of course, the day of divine appointment of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And the imama is synonymous with Ali, and Ali is synonymous with the imama. There's no like distinguishing between the two. And we know that this is not unusual because the Prophet has described Amir al-Mu'mineen in the Abu Abdullah in the same way. That he once turned to his companions and he said that this young Hussein that you see is not the Hussein that you know. For the Hussein of the Sama is akbar from the Hussein in the Ard. Whoa, now what are we talking about here? Ubay ibn Ka'b is looking at a young Imam Hussein. The Prophet says, what you're seeing is not what you think you understand. The Hussein of Sama, the Hussein of the celestial, unseen, ghaibi world, the alam al-malakut, is greater than what you understand of Hussein in this world, or what you see of him. Likewise, the Ghadeer, whatever we understand of here, it is nothing in comparison to the Ghadeer as it is understood and seen and commemorated in a world and a sense and a realm much beyond what we are seeing right now. Let us now enter this discourse further. Inna Allaha fil firdaus al-a'la. The Imam now says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the highest heaven, firdaus al-a'la, nothing beyond this. There's nothing beyond this. Firdaus al-a'la. Again, we cannot perceive of this, we cannot understand what Imam is saying really here. It's the highest level of any kind of ma'rifat, of any kind of aql, of any kind of jannah, of any kind of reward, of any kind of thawab that is possibly imaginable in dunya or akhirat. This is Firdaus al-A'la. That in this highest level of paradise, right, everything that's created has a hierarchy. The Firdaus is the top of the hierarchy of everything that Allah has created, whether it be in Jannah or dunya, akhirah or dunya. Then he says that in this Firdaus is a lofty garden of paradise, a castle that's made of silver and gold. Contained within it is 100,000 domes covered in red rubies, and 100,000 tents covered in green rubies. The sand in this castle is like musk, it's like a perfume. It's like a special perfume. He's describing the beauty of Allah's Firdaus, right? There's other riwayat about Firdaus that I won't narrate here, because then we'll have to go into philosophy then to talk about them. But what Firdaus is, there's some riwayat of the Prophet that are just completely mind-blowing. When he starts talking about what Firdaus is, that will require some muqaddamat to get into. It's not necessary to narrate those traditions, but just to simply tell you that there's no ma'rifat beyond this. of any Nabi, of any Imam, of any Shaheed, of any Malik, of any angel, of nothing beyond this. The Imam then goes on to say, and in this place, right, there are these castles and tents, are 4 rivers, a river of wine, a river of water, a river of milk, and a river of asal. Now, of course, this wine is not talking about wine of anyone who knows poetry, you understand? This is not daru, like we talk about, like the alcohol of this world. It is used in the Arabic language to connote something that is, pleasing and beautiful, not the intoxicating things that the najasat of this world. So there are these 4 rivers, and along the river are trees from end to end, filled with fruits and birds that are singing. وَحَوَالِيهِ أَشْجَارُ جَمِيعُ الْفَوَاكِهِ عَلَيْهِ. And there's birds whose bodies are made of pearls and rubies. What kind of birds are these? Allah, this is Firdaus al-A'la. And when the day of Ghadeer arrives, إِذَا كَانَ يَوْمُ الْغَدِيرِ, when the day of Ghadeer arrives, وَرَدَ إِلَى ذَلِكَ الْقَصْرِ أَهْلُ سَمَاوَاتِ. On this day, all of the people of the heavens, that's everything, all the malaika, all the anbiya, all the shuhada, awsiya, mu'mineen, mu'minat, everything, brothers, kullu shay of samawat arrives at the castle. The angels gather. This is Imam al-Rada, salamullahi alayhi, narrating from Imam Sadiq. إِذَا اجْتَمَعَتِ الْمَلَائِكَةُ طَارَتْ فَتَنْفُضُ ذَلِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ. That the angels are gathered now. They are shivering from the intensity of the moment that they are in. وَإِنَّهُمْ فِي ذَلِكَ الْيَوْمِ يَتَهَادُونَ نُفَارْ فَاطِمَةٍ. Oh, this is just... Now, not only that, the angels are now gifting one another. They're giving gifts to one another, because it's mustahab to give gifts. We know in the traditions. We're going to get to why this is important. But what are they gifting one another? The Nuthara Fatima. You know what the Nuthara Fatima is? This would require 1 or 2 sessions to enter into the section of Nuthar Fatima, of the riwayat on this issue. It is the heavenly confetti that was showered upon her when the Prophet brought her to Imam Ali's house for the first night of marriage. That the Nuthar of Fatima salamullahi alayha is now used, so to speak, as the gifts and what to decorate Jannah on the day of Ghadeer. Again, we come to Fatima as the sir and the secret of Ghadeer. As she is the seed of the tree, she is also the sir and the secret of Ghadeer. There can be no Ghadeer without Fatima salamullahi alayha. Who is Sayyid Zahra now? This is something else now. So the Nuthar of Fatima are scattered. And the majlis on the day of Ghadeer begins. And Imam Rada says on the last day, so there's several days of celebration that take place. Several days, because now he says on the last day of celebrations, the visitors are told to return home. Aminan, that they are protected from any shortfalls until next year. Now the Imam is speaking about this majlis. That we are protected from any zallat and khataya and things like this until the next year, that our mistakes and missteps, that we leave here in a state of protection. Not because we, prayed 100 rak'ah, although that is, there is a hadith like this, because we came here for the wilaya of Amir al-Mu'mineen. This is what the value of majlis of Ahlul Bayt is. So we should think again when we want to attend or not attend the dhikr of Ahlul Bayt, salamullahi alayhim. This is the day of Ghadeer. Then the Imam says, Ya bi Nasr, wherever you are, celebrate the day of Ghadeer. فَحْدُرْ يَوْمِ الْغَدِيرِ عِنْدَ أَمِيرِ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. celebrated with Amir al-Mu'mineen. This could have many meanings. It could be go to Najaf, of course. There's no better place than to come to the qabr of Amir al-Mu'mineen on the day of Ghadeer. Because on that day, Allah forgives the sins of 60 years for every believing man and believing woman, and Muslim man and Muslim woman. They get 60 years of sins forgiven on the day of Ghadeer, for celebrating the day of Ghadeer, for simply coming with a clean heart and saying, Ya Ali. And God frees from the hellfire twice as many people than He did. Twice as many people as He did throughout Shahr Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr, and the night of Fitr. Twice as many people are freed from the fire of Jahannam than Shahr Ramadan, Laylatul Qadr, and the Laylatul Eid al-Fitr. This is the reason why we have been told in the traditions that this is the Akbarul Ayyat, the greatest of the Eids. Because the completion of the religion took place. The Laylatul Qadr, the qima and the value of the Quran and Laylatul Qadr comes from where? If the religion was not completed, right? We know the verse, Yawma Akmaltu Din. If the religion itself was not completed, was not perfected, then Qiyamah itself would come into question. Because now people would have an argument saying, well, we were not left with guidance after the Prophet. So all those other commemorations are given their crowning moment through Man Kuntu Mawla Fa'ahada Ali al-Mawla. Laylatul Qadr, Shahr Ramadan, and the night of Eid al-Fitr. Because their meaning, their value, their qimat is given through the completion of the deen of Islam. And that is through none other than the wilayah of Amir al-Mu'mineen, than the authority and divine appointeeship of Amir al-Mu'mineen. And from there, of course, comes the 11 other A'immah, 11 other Imams. This is a heavy day. There's no way going around it. I mean, and it's many days of celebration, as the riwayah says that on the last day they are sent home. Again, there's a whole discussion here that is he saying that our souls are transported there during Ghadeer? Because who are those people? If they're already in Jannah, why do they need to be protected from sin? So who are the people that are being sent home? Are you with me? So there's a group of people that are being sent home, and they're being sent home and told that they're protected till the next year. But the people of Jannah don't need the protection. They've already entered heaven. So is it that our souls migrate there? Or the souls of the true muhibbeen are already at some point migrating to that real mahfil? Because that's where the real mahfil is. That's where the real gathering is. Aimma's words can take us into very deep areas here. I mean, that's why I always say that there is no way to understand Ghadeer. Then Imam Rida narrating from Imam Sadiq says, and on the day of Ghadeer, 1 dirham given to your fellow brother, that's like $1 given to your fellow brother in Iman, is equivalent to 1,000 dirhams. $1. That's why sadaqah, charity to your Mu'min brother or Mu'min sister, is extremely recommended on Ghadeer. Because $1 becomes $1,000. Not that you only give $1. Allah knows your intentions, obviously, right? If you can give $1,000, and that's 10,000, right? No, that's more. It was 100,000, yeah. And then Imam says, "O people, ya Ahlul Kufa, O the people of Kufa, If only you knew the greatness of this day. Allah has tested the faith of your heart with knowledge of this. Meaning that because now we know about what Ghadeer is, our heart shall be tested by it. That Amir al-Mu'mineen shall become the litmus test of Jannah and Nar. That heaven and hell shall now be determined by who? Amir al-Mu'mineen shall be that litmus test. The divider between heaven and hell. Because the Imam says that your hearts are tested by this day of Ghadeer. That the state of your heart is known and determined by this day. By where you stand or where I stand on this day of Ghadeer. The Imam ends by saying, Wallahi. Imam is saying Wallahi. Huh? Imam doesn't say Wallahi. Wallahi. He's saying, I swear by Allah, if people understood the true beauty of this day, the angels would greet them 10 times every day. Just if they knew the beauty of this day of Ghadeer, the angels would greet them 10 times every single day. The Imam ends by saying, I do not wish to prolong the discussion of the virtue of this day, for what is granted by Allah on this day cannot be given a number. So the Imam is saying that everything that I have said, I myself cannot fathom it. Meaning that the Imam himself, Al-Ma'asum, is saying that whatever I have given you of this here is the limit of my knowledge with regards to Ghadeer. So what is Ghadeer then? All we can do is just remain fascinated by it, in a state of complete fascination. This is the day of Ghadeer, brothers. I mean, this is a profound day, which, as I have said at the beginning, is a core part of the school of Tushayyu and the madhab of Ahlul Bayt. There is no doubt about it. It is the test to see who we are, what we are, and where we stand on this day. This is the mihna. Because Amir al-Mu'mineen himself says in his khutbah, which is narrated by Tusi as well, where Amir al-Mu'mineen himself speaks about the fadila of the day, the fadl of the day of Ghadeer himself, where he says on this day, he says some very, very powerful words. He says, this is the day, yawm mihnatul ibad. This is the day when the servants shall be tested. This is the day when they shall know what side of history they are standing on. This is the day when they shall know where they stand. Mihnatul ibad. وَيَوْمْ, then he goes on to say, وَيَوْمْ إِبْدَاءُ الْأَحْقَادُ الصُّدُورِ. This is the day when the hatred began in people's hearts. This is the day when the ihqad al-sudur, the huqad of the sudur, that is that rancor and hatred and darkness grew in people's hearts as a result of this day. That's why it's mihnatul ibad. It is the test of where we stand in the history of humankind and civilization. On what side of history do we stand on this day of Ghadeer? This is the way we shall know. Are we following the Amir al-Mu'mineen in the guidance he has given us? It is also a mihna. Or are we just lovers of Amir al-Mu'mineen through poetry but not through amal salihat? A'mal salihat. Because remember, the eye of Muwadda begins with what? Iman and good deeds. So obviously lip service is not sufficient. It can't be. Amilu salihat. They do good righteous deeds. Lip service is not sufficient. And that's the argument I always have for Malangs. It's the argument I always put forward to them. There is no way, based on the Quran itself, that you could not pray and then say you are just showing mawadda to Ahlul Bayt. It's not possible. It's not mumkin. Unless you don't believe in the Quran. If you don't believe in the text of the Quran, that is something else, leave it. It is clear. Right? That those extremist Shia groups that, don't pray or don't give khums or don't do these things, they just Ali, Ali, Ali. Yes, Ali, 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 we say it night and day from the morning until the night when we go to sleep. No doubt about that. We should be intoxicated with the name Ali ibn Abi Talib. Our children, when they wake up, should say Ya Ali. When they go to sleep, they should say Ya Ali. When they fall, they should be taught to say Ya Ali. There's no doubt about that. But that Ya Ali will never ever have any effect on the soul without the salah as explained by Ali ibn Abi Talib after the Prophet. It will not. Or the Sawm as explained by Ali, the fasting. Or the married life as explained by Ali. Or the Qums as explained by Ali. Or the charity as explained by Ali. Or the controlling of the temper as explained by Ali. Or the love as explained by Ali. This is a choice. I don't want to prolong the discussion. I know it is a weeknight, but this is the message, right? And this is a great day of witnessing. This is an incredible day of witnessing, right? The Imam says, Yawm al-Shahid wal-Mashhud. Amir al-Mu'mineen says that on this day is the day of the Shahid and the Mashhud. There's two people. There's the one who's being witnessing and the one who's witnessed upon. Interestingly enough, Imam al-Hussein was both Shahid and Mashhud. That's a different issue for a different day, why he was both Shahid and Mashhud. But Amir al-Mu'mineen says today is the Yawm of Shahid and Mashhud, the day of the one who's witnessing and the one who's witnessed upon. This is the day that it will be noted who we are truly and what we are at our core, at our spiritual core, our soul, in our hearts, sudur. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us, inshaAllah, to the path, to the sabil of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad, to Deen Ali ibn Abi Talib, salamullahi alayhi. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise our children on the path of Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad and guide us and forgive us. Allahumma ighfir lana dhunubana wa sayyi'atina bihaqqi Muhammadin wa alihi tayyibin tahirin wa wafaqana inshaAllah fi ta'atihi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a tawfiq to obey Him wa ta'atihi wa ta'at Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad and to obey Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin ya Allah.